We've got a near-term snow shot that's about to move from parts of the Midwest all the way on over here to parts of the Mid-Atlantic over the next few days, but do we have a favorable pattern all the way towards the end of February? I've got details on not just snowfall, but also rain and temperature outlooks, everything on your screen through the rest of this video, so stick around.
One Nation Weather.
Timestamps are along on the bottom of this video and in the description if you want to skip ahead to a certain part, but let's talk about the near-term pattern first here, as we do have some winter weather alerts. Winter weather advisories on your screen are in purple. We've also got winter storm warnings in pink. You can see over the Tug Hill Plateau there in New York, we've got some winter storm warnings up over there, some winter weather advisories as well as some wind advisories surrounding that, as we've got some pretty gusty west winds moving through parts of especially northern Ohio, Pennsylvania, southern New York, throughout most of New York, in fact, and southern New England. Also some winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories exiting the Mountain West and heading into the plains. By the way, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 3,000 subscribers. Would love to be there by March. Don't forget to get a Weather Bell trial for maps like these in the description. Now let's talk about the pattern. Again, as of our Thursday evening, we've got that snow moving through parts of New York. Also got some snow and some rainfall there into parts of the west, with that rainfall hitting the Oregon and northwest California coast. Minor flooding concerns out of that, but otherwise just some moderate to heavy snowfall there through higher elevations, especially of Idaho, Montana, and into parts of Wyoming, but you can see some of that snow eventually heading eastward. But again, as we make our way towards Friday around 3-4 a.m., some snow over parts of now Maine, even through Boston area, through Vermont, New Hampshire there in New York as well. And then we've also got a little bit of snow there continuing on out and now moving into Nebraska and Iowa, while a little bit of shower coverage now impacts parts of southern Texas. And you can see the pieces of that next system really fusing by the time we make our way towards Friday afternoon. Some showers through parts of Arkansas, Tennessee, and into southern Kentucky, but through parts of far northern Kentucky, through Missouri, Illinois, and southern Indiana especially there. This is mostly going to miss places like Chicago and Fort Wayne in Indiana. This is going to be south of you with the heaviest of that snow. A nice little swath of some light to moderate snowfall through the southern parts of those states there. That continues through parts of eastern Ohio, on over there into eastern Kentucky, even some snow breaking out. This moves into Wyoming as well as we head towards our overnight Friday night and into our Saturday morning with this model solution. Also some showers extending all the way back down through Tennessee and down to Mississippi out of this, as this system tries to tap into that subtropical jet. While this is a weak system, we'll still get some decent snowfall pushing off the mid-Atlantic coastline out of this, so through parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, all those areas getting in on some decent snow. And then we kind of get some cooler air to begin filtering on in behind it, indicated by the cooler high pressure system and those blue lines pushing on in on your screen. Beyond that point, as we head towards the end of our Saturday, we'll be watching rain and some high elevation snow over parts of the west, and some rain through far southern Texas and down along the Gulf Coast, especially of Florida. Now, here's future snowfall out of this clipper just through Friday at 1 p.m. here over parts of New York State, and you can see, look at that, the Tug Hill Plateau, some spots picking up locally over a foot, with some of the kind of the lake enhancement that gets going there a little bit. Vermont, New Hampshire, some high elevations picking up 6+ inches of snow. Overall, though, the overwhelming majority of these zones in the blues there getting about 2 to 4 inches, and that does include places like Boston right on the edge of the 2 to 4 inch mark, as that stripe of snow moves from parts of northern New York all the way on there through south central Maine. Now let's shift our attention back over towards the west, as we've got some snow through just Saturday at 1 a.m. here, through around the middle of the night Friday night here. You can see parts of Oregon to high elevations there, high elevations of Idaho, and high elevations of northwestern Wyoming picking up on the heaviest snowfall, with local totals more than a foot in those regions. And then as we take a look at the snowfall out of that second system that kind of fuses with the subtropical jet just a little bit, you can see that brings a nice swath of some snow through south central South Dakota and north central Nebraska, with some 3 to 5 inch totals there. Meanwhile, there's lake effect snow ongoing up there into parts of northern Michigan. But again, you can really see that secondary snow shot here, really with that fusing energy there over parts of the Midwest as well, through parts of east central Missouri, through parts of Illinois, and then on over there into Indiana and south central Ohio, the National Digital Forecast Database here, which is, kind of an average here that the National Weather Service uses, giving us about 2 to 4 inches through those areas. As that snowfall continues eastward, look where we could pick up some additional heavy totals. I think this doesn't do a very good job of showing us the snow we could get through eastern Kentucky, but through parts of eastern West Virginia, all the way on over there into southern New Jersey, that's where that snow stripe does look to continue at its heaviest there, with some spots locally picking up, even through places like Baltimore, Maryland, close to around 3 to 5 inches of Snow breaking out across that area there, so not too bad in the total department. Places like New York City, though, and parts of Rhode Island, Connecticut, those areas kind of missing out in between those two little systems that are going to be impacting the northeastern U.S. Now, beyond this point, as we head towards our Sunday at 7 a.m., still some rain through parts of Florida, also tracking precipitation on out into the west, whether it's the snowfall in the high elevations there of the interior west, or just some of the showers still impacting parts of western Oregon and parts of California. We will be watching some of those coastal areas Saturday night into Sunday for that heavier rainfall. Another event of rain is going to make its way into parts of the west by the midday time frame of our Monday here. Really concerned about this one for the flood potential to ramp on up through west central parts of California. The northern Sierra Nevada range is also going to pick up on some very heavy snowfall out of this one. In fact, let's zoom in on that. You can see there through parts of the Sacramento area, San Francisco, all these areas, some very heavy rain, and then also some heavy snowfall as that low into high elevations, as that low really kind of pumps in that moisture from the west. So with time, we're really going to add up the precipitation here, and you can see some form of rain or high elevation snow continues through midweek next week there across the west. So here's your total precipitation out of the European ensembles, a collection of those models surrounding the Euro. By the time we go towards our Saturday at 1 p.m., already some heavier rain there through parts of northwest California, western Oregon, over an inch in some locations. A little bit of some rainfall there in the heavier end there in far south central Texas there, into places like Corpus Christi and Brownsville. Notice how those totals begin extending eastward towards Florida, but the main concern again with these totals out west, closer to the coast there in Oregon and then parts of west central and northwest California, 4+ inches of rain by this point in many communities, and we're also watching out through parts of Florida for at least an inch or two by that point. So some heavier rainfall, but overall, those are in very localized areas, just the west and Florida picking up on the heavy rain. Everywhere else, either seeing nothing or very little of it. And of course, some of the precipitation on your screen was falling as snow, as I mentioned earlier. Now, temperature anomalies out of the European ensembles here. We've got warmer than average here at the end of this week over parts of Texas and Arkansas. Meanwhile, bottled up over there over Montana, we've kind of got a colder shot. You can see by the time we go towards our Saturday in the afternoon, just taking one day to make its way on down southward, this collection of ensemble models, they're really indicating that we're going to go about 5 to 10 to even 15 degrees below average over a lot of the south and eastern United States into this weekend. That tries to linger around into early next week over parts of the southeast, but you can see what really begins to return and dominate already at that point, especially from parts of Texas all the way northward to the north central plains. That El Nino ridging really killing us here for snow chances over the central U.S. as we head through next week. Looking at those temperature anomalies by the time we head towards the midweek time frame, this is Wednesday, February 21st. Just look at that. We've got the warmer than average temperatures by these ensembles, which is an average of some models showing, 15 to 25 degrees above average there through parts of the upper Midwest. The temperatures look to be well above average over most of the country, excluding the southwest and far southeastern United States as we head through most of next week, especially the middle to back half of it. That's why the 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook, which goes from February 21st through February 25th here from the Climate Prediction Center, shows those reds and those pinks really filling up, especially the central U.S. at that time. Now, what I want to show you here is surface pressure out of the European ensembles, because all these reds on your screen as we head towards the early part of next week, that's indicating high pressure. So a lot of ridging, temperatures trying to rebound and recover over a lot of the country, indicated by those high pressure systems. What you need to kind of bring in another shot of some colder air is low pressure. And what we do begin to see, you can see there through parts of the eastern United States, the mid-Atlantic into the northeast, you see those yellows popping up. That's at least a lower end low pressure system being indicated as we head towards Friday of next week. So this is Friday, February 23rd. If that gets enough cold air, we could see some cooler air push in behind it there. The reds on your screen don't necessarily mean that it's warm. It just means there's high pressure, which can often lead to gradual warm-ups across the country. So do keep that in mind as you take a look at these graphics. But let's look at future radar with an ensemble collection here from the GEFS. This is your GFS collection of models and ensembles here. You can see through parts of the west central United States, again, keeping it active through midweek next week. But look at where that translates. Eventually, it looks like something breaking through the ridge, some sort of heavier precipitation possible, especially over the Ohio Valley and Northeast, with this low as we head towards Thursday, Friday time frame of next week. Again, February 22nd into the 23rd. And look at this GEFS combo. Now, it doesn't show anything heavy as of now, so not a huge signal of any kind of major system, but in that 6 to 8 day range, I think we really need to watch the potential for some heavy snow to wrap around some kind of low pressure system there, whether it's in the Great Lakes, the interior Northeast, or even through parts of southern New England. That's to be determined. But these GEFS ensembles do show some cooler air trying to rush on in behind that. And if we take a look at your chance of 1 inch of snowfall in 24 hours, back to those Euro ensembles here, you can see it indicates that same system as we head towards the end of next week, with at least 10, 20+% chances there of getting at least an inch of snowfall in a day's worth of time, especially over the interior northeast, really indicating closer to a 50 to 70% chance already. Still questionable further south, though, into the mid-Atlantic. So we'll see if, the storm can make a little bit more of a southerly track and bring that kind of, air mass down there to produce the snow there. But what I can tell you with the 7-day temperature anomaly, so this is as we go February 19th through 26th, much warmer than average overall through the central United States. And overall, the warming trend that we see over the central United States with time continues to be banked up against as we head into early March. But look at that. I mean, by the time we go, say, the end of February into early March here, ridging over a lot of the east. So this could be the signal that we're starting to lose hope with bigger storm systems and bigger snowstorms. Not necessarily for good, but overall just lowering those chances there as the warmer than average air takes hold a lot of the east, other than, again, that system I mentioned for late next week. And then with your 7-day precipitation anomalies, again, mostly keeping it wet across the west. Overall, over the next 10 days, though, most precipitation is pretty much in line with average or below average across a lot of the country. It's only as we head into early March where we'll begin to see precipitation kind of return to being above average there, and we're going to play this out right now and kind of show you how that goes across the east. Look at this playthrough as we head through March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Look at that. I think sometime at the very end of February and into early March, we might see a return of some heavier precip over the east. But again, that's probably the kind of precipitation that just gets rid of ridging and doesn't necessarily mean snowfall. So everything I mentioned in this forecast is, again, just a forecast. So don't take anything as being 100% possible. But we've gone through everything, and if you want more like this, please hit that subscribe button. Weather Bell Maps trial in the description. That's it for this video. Thank you so much. That's it.